Hello, welcome back. On part one, Connor's told us about his brand new ventures, Emerald Airlines, and how the industry is on the way back. In part two, we ask him about Air Asia and the future of onboard retail. Let's go for part two. Let's talk a little bit about Asia, because Asia is in lockdown, and it's of course a market which is still pretty badly hit for Malaysia, I guess, of course, from KL and AirAsia. What do you think the market is going to be, let's say, in 5 years from now? You think it's going to recover as fast as the European one? And also, there is lots of discussion about online on-flight retail. That's Immarsat that says it's going to be $130 billion of things sold in the planes and so on. Do you think that there is a market for really pitching product during the flights and creating a new market wave on that?
Okay, so I'll take your first question first. So Asia, very badly hit. My airline down there, Air Asia, has been suffering particularly badly. Also, it's quite noticeable how little government support there is for airlines such as Air Asia, which delivers the vast majority of tourists to Malaysia and to Thailand, and yet there's very little government support for them. And a lot of that's driven by the fact that some of those governments just don't have the money. And they also are in the business of owning flag carriers, and that ends up putting them in a difficult position because they're simply not able to distinguish between airlines that could usefully use help and bring back passengers and tourists much quicker compared to airlines that they own a share of. And so they're divided in their decision making. So I believe Asia will recover. It's running, I'd say, it's running about 2 months to 3 months behind Europe. Now, if the vaccination programs in those countries can be successful, and I have no reason to believe they won't be, albeit ever so slightly slower. If those vaccination programs can work, those countries will be back flying. And we already see it with the likes of Thailand, where the value of the tourism industry is not only well known, but it is, hugely supported at government level. The Thai government has tried to reopen Thai tourism, and that is very much an inbound from Europe business, in addition to other parts of Asia. So I can see those countries welcoming tourists back very soon, once it's safe to do so. So again, I think maybe 2 to 3 months after you see the recovery in Europe. The US has had a strong domestic recovery already. In Mexico, where I'm involved with Viva Aerobus, our carryings are already 20% ahead of where they were in 2019. So although we've seen the demise of some airlines and we've seen Aeromexico go into Chapter 11, with Viva Aerobus, they're already well ahead of where they were in 2019. So the domestic markets have shown how the recovery can work very, very quickly. So Stefan, to answer your question, I think Asia must and can and will recover. And Asia aviation is very important. Bear in mind, Southeast Asia doesn't have the motorway network or the rail network that Europe has. It doesn't have the highway network that the US has. So the only way to get around in those countries is often air. So I think we will see point-to-point flying recover. We'll see domestic and regional flying first. Then we'll see some, 2 to 4 hour flights recovering, and then you'll see intercontinental flying come back. But it will happen. It'll definitely happen over the next 6 to 8 months. So the second part of your question was in relation to in-flight retail, and Immarsat saying about how they see this as a very strong growing market. Of course they would say that because they're selling in-flight data, and they want people to use this as part of their business case. In AirAsia, we've relied strongly on that as part of our move towards a digital platform in the air. We're seeing good use of bring your own device technology on all our aircraft. So whether that's somebody downloading their Netflix movie and watching it on the aircraft, or actually, tuning into the Wi-Fi and internet on board, that has had varying results. It's got a very low price point. The consumer really wants their data for free, and they want infinite bandwidth. So, there's always going to be a drive in price, and there's always going to be a drive with that lower price for better bandwidth performance. So I think we'll always be playing that catch-up game in the air, because it's so difficult to get an aircraft to perform in terms of bandwidth in the same way as 5G here on the ground in Dublin. So, but in-flight retail will be important. It's even important for us in Emerald. We will have a paid bar. We'll have paid snacks. We don't give away, complimentary drinks and food. And it's part of our business model. It helps us keep our fares down, and it enables us to offer a nice service to people who want it. And it also enables us then to, not have to serve everybody on a 50-minute flight. So we might serve, 40% of them with a coffee. And you can do that on a 50-minute flight. If everybody was getting a free coffee, we'd never get more than halfway down the aircraft before we were coming into descent. So it is a challenge, but it's one that we enjoy. We think in-flight retail is good. What I'd like is if Immarsat could develop a really good coffee making machine for the ATR 72, so we could serve the very best of coffee, and we'd only charge €3.50. Or maybe 4 if we could get away with it. But if it's good coffee, people won't mind. That's the thing.
I think I have to fly back from Singapore by Aer Lingus. I don't know if it's very good convenience to go back to France, but you really sold the product today. Thanks you for the pitch. You're right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Very good.
Thank you very much for your time. I think it was a great interview today. I think we know more about the low-cost carrier and the commuters today. It's a new category. We just encountered. And thank you very much for Luminaire being with us.
You're very welcome, and best of luck to all your viewers. I hope they stay in the business. We need the talent to stay, and I hope they find those opportunities I spoke about very soon. And I'm sure they'll be there. It's just a matter of time, small amount of time now.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Conor. It's been lovely talking to you today.
You're welcome, Anya. Nice to meet you both. Take care.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.